how are you doing today? My
I'm
name my name is Whitney Hickman, and I'm going to be your social worker today at the Family Resource Center. I just want to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I've been here for 5 years, a little over 5 years, and I really enjoy working here. And I specialize in empowering women and helping them to meet their goals and overcome their obstacles that they're facing. So I just want to let you know that I'm so glad you're here and I'm excited to work with you. And your name is Dee Dee, is that correct?
Well, it's Dion, but my friends call me Dee Dee.
Okay, Dee Dee. Do you mind if I call you Dee Dee?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
great. Well, like I said, I'm so glad you're here. And one thing before we get started that I want to go over with you is going to be our confidentiality and informed consent document. Basically, it's just saying that anything that we talk about is going to remain confidential, and that I'm not going to go talking about anything that we discuss with anybody else unless if you threaten to harm yourself or someone else. Then I am required by law to report that, or if there is any indication of elderly abuse or child abuse, and I have to report that as well. Is there anything that you don't understand about that, or any questions about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, great. And so, when you called the other day, you said that you just recently ended an abusive relationship, and that you weren't really feeling like yourself. And you also said you wanted to try to find better housing. Could you kind of tell me more about that?
Well, I was in a relationship for 3 years with a guy who I thought was just the best thing. And then he started, being aggressive, and he did have a 2-year-old daughter. So that made it harder, for me to leave at first. So I stayed. But he started being more physical and verbally abusive maybe 10 months into the relationship. But, at first I just thought it was a bad day. So, But I was really independent. I was an athlete. Loved going to the gym. It was my favorite thing to do.
Wow, yeah.
That's actually where we met. We met at the gym.
Okay.
And yeah, I had a good job, and I was starting college, and so a good job for before college,
Mm-hmm.
and just loved living life and hung out with my friends all the time and everything. And then now it's all different. It's completely opposite than it was before.
Okay.
So now I don't have a job. I am staying with my dad, and I have no friends.
Oh, wow. So it seems like, you're really having a hard time since this breakup. It kind of seems like, you kind of changed your whole life for this person and it didn't work out. So you must be really hurt and confused and lonely, and I can only imagine how you're feeling. But you definitely showed courage by coming in here. It's definitely a hard thing to do, especially when someone we love hurts us. It really makes us feel like we can't trust anybody, and it's hard to open up. So I really want you to know that this is a safe place, and feel free to share your thoughts and your feelings, honestly, and you won't be judged here. And really, you can really help this process by, like I said, being honest and asking questions, if there's anything you don't understand. And also, your feedback is really important. If you have any like suggestions about what we can do to help improve your situation and to get you to kind of where you want to be. So this is definitely, it's going to be an active mutual relationship, and so I just kind of wanted to let you know what to expect. So again, and you said your relationship with your ex was very, I think the word you mentioned was physical. He started getting physical, and can you tell me exactly what you meant by that?
Well, at first it was just like it would be like a hand to the face, and then it became like a slap to the face, and then you begin to tell yourself like, oh, that's not that bad, like it becomes, I guess, a psychological thing. Well, then it became like pushing and then throwing to the ground, and then bruises, black eyes, and before you know it, you're lying and you're literally making up stories. And like, when you see women or anyone and they're like, oh, I fell. Well, I used to believe that, but now I was that person saying I fell.
Right.
Well, people picked up on it at work that I was falling a lot.
Right.
So yeah, it just became a little too much.
So you're saying basically that you really love this guy so much that you basically lied and covered up what he was doing to you so you could protect him. You were protecting him because you loved him and you thought that was the best thing to do. And I can understand. I don't even know how hard that must have been for you, but I'm so glad that you're through the worst of it, and you're seeking the help that you need. That really shows a lot of courage. And
having a daughter, though, I think played a big part in it because, she would pick up on certain things. She was really smart for her too. Well, she was a little under 2 when we first started dating. So she was about 5. She's about 5 now. So, I stayed for her because she's a girl and I don't want him to get physical with her. Right. And so if he did get mad at her, I don't think he would ever hurt her, but just in case, she kind of trusted me. So I wanted to be there, I guess, for her and the blanket. Her blanket, I guess. That sounds weird, but...
Yeah, it kind of seems like you were kind of standing in as a mother figure for her, and you kind of felt responsible if you left her, like maybe he would turn on her. So you kind of took the responsibility of keeping her safe, and that takes a strong woman to do that, to stay to protect a child. So that's never an easy situation whenever there's a child in danger or could be in danger. We want to definitely make sure that child is safe and everything, for sure. So we talked about, your relationship with your ex, and you said, I think you talked about how you were living with your dad and maybe you wanted to try to find some housing so you could be a little more independent. Could you tell me a little more about that?
So I initially moved back with my dad because, at first, when he first got locked up, I guess you could say, they wanted to put me in the victim protection thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am in it, but they wanted to send me to House of Grace. But because of how, fearful and scared I was, and I was kind of taken away from my family, I didn't want to go and be with strangers, even though I knew that they would understand. I didn't want to be with strangers and be confined. So, the judge agreed to let me be with my dad because he knew I'd be safe. So that's how I initially moved back in with my dad. But I don't want to get too comfortable because then I don't want it to be long term. I want to start to find my independency and, just find myself again, find a job, have my own house, get back
Right.
to the old me. But I know it's going to take time because right now it's still hard just wanting, like, I can't go to the grocery store by myself. So, because it's like everywhere, I wasn't allowed to do anything by myself.
Right.
So now it's, I guess, having to break the habits, but it's also
Mhm.
the fear that's still
Yeah.
instilled. So just breaking the habits and getting back. But it starts with having to be by myself
Right.
and living by myself is where it has to
Right.
start. So.
That's right. It sounds like you have a good idea to where you want to start, and that's really good. That shows that you're definitely committed to the process of making a change for the better. And it's hard, and I understand how you don't want to get too comfortable with your dad. You want to be independent because your ex, he took that independence from you basically, and you depended on him. He made you depend on him, and so definitely, working on that would be a great thing to start with. So, we've talked about several different topics. From your trauma from your previous relationship to finding a better job, and also that would lead to better housing so you can be independent. um, does that sound like a good place to start with you?
Yeah, because that's definitely the most important and what needs to be focused on in order to get to bigger results. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we talked about, you said you wanted to find a better job. Are you working right now? I think you said you weren't, or
No, I'm not right now because when I first, met him, I was working at a really higher end retail store, and I was waiting tables. So, it was good money for me at the age I was, but it also helped me be more out there.
mm-hmm.
But now that I'm more in, I don't
Right.
work. I'm not
Okay,
comfortable with it.
I understand. Okay, so definitely finding you a job or getting you more, I guess, used to being more comfortable would be definitely another issue we could work on. So, and I wanted to ask you about, you said you had your dad. Now, do you have anybody else? Like, for say, if something were to happen to you, is there anybody you would call that you could call to talk to, or that would come help you if you needed?
My grandma and my
Grandma?
sister, yeah.
Okay.
They've always been like my support system,
Mm-hmm.
but the last 2 years, it's kind of been different, but
Right.
more my fault than theirs. They didn't leave, so
Mm-hmm.
it's my fault that it all happened. So.
Oh, when you say it's your fault, it all happened, what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, if I would have just, some people tried to say that he had, anger problems or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I needed to leave. I didn't.
Right.
And I knew that him taking me away from my family was wrong, but I didn't. So I feel like if I would have, listened or whatever, then I wouldn't be here. So, but
Oh, I
here we
understand.
are.
Sounds like you are feeling some guilt about staying in that
Yeah.
relationship, and maybe how it affected your relationships with your family.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, and that's another thing that I'm working towards is, it's hard to look at them sometimes, and
Mm.
they're comforting and loving me, but it's just, I don't really know who I am, and I also know, I don't know, I feel like I've disappointed them, I guess, but it's just all really hard.
I understand. Sometimes in life, some of the hardest things we do can be the most rewarding in the long run. sometimes walking away from a relationship, you can truly, find yourself. So, we've really talked about a lot of different things, and you think if you work through your trauma from your relationship, and we can get you, a better job and get you your own place, then maybe that can help with the depression and start to get you feeling more independent and feeling like yourself again.
Yeah. I definitely think that's the right track for sure.
Good. Well, we've got a really great first start, and I think we're going to do great things together. So I definitely would like to see you back again next week. Is that okay?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can come.
Great. I look so much forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.